What's the difference between a theory and a conspiracy theory? We're going to try to answer that question today, but while you watch this video, I want that question to be at the forefront of your brain because we are talking about a conspiracy theory, quote unquote, and controversy that is arising because of it. So this is from the Detroit Free Press. State Representative Josh Scriver lost his staff and his spot on a legislative committee as punishment for sharing a social media post amplifying a racist conspiracy theory. It says last week, Scriver shared a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, from right-wing commentator Jack Posobiec with a graphic with the text, "The Great Replacement," showing a world map with white human figures in the US, Europe, and Australia, and black human figures dotted across the rest of the land. This is the conspiracy theory or the post that he was talking about. This was shared by Jack. So the conspiracy theory states that there is a coordinated and clandestine effort to replace white populations in majority white countries and has been described as racist and a paranoid narrative. So this is the situation. This representative responds to a tweet talking about this quote unquote conspiracy theory, and now he is losing his committee assignments and his committee spots because of it. But I want to show you guys what his colleagues had to say about it and what he responded with. Take a look.
Racist and bigoted conspiracy theories by members of this chamber will not be tolerated here.
And attempting to govern through hate, through fear, or through the marginalization of groups of people is unsustainable, and it is reckless. No civilization in history was ever successful with this long-term strategy. Additionally,
so here's what I find interesting. He responded to this quote unquote conspiracy theory, but he didn't make any claims about it. He just reposted it. Now, you can disagree or agree with the theory that there are majority white populations that are getting less so in certain countries around the world. You can refute that. You can say that you agree, disagree. But to call it racist or to call it hatred, I think is reaching too much. And it always seems that when you talk about issues pertaining specifically to the white race, it's racist or it's bigoted or it's about hate. But when you talk negatively about the white population, you get a free pass to do this. And we've seen this with Congress people and with people that hold elected, positions of power in this country. You can say whatever you want seemingly about the white race, but when it's the other way around, or when people are, talking about, the other side of white issues or things that pertain to the white race, it seems like you get shot down a lot for that. And again, for anybody that wants to talk negatively about white people, go ahead. You have a First Amendment right to do that. But my problem is when it's, again, the other side of it, people are getting their spots and their committee positions stripped. I find that interesting.
It can degrade the safety of our colleagues, the staff that works in this building.
Our God-given right to free speech is enshrined in our Constitution, the same Constitution I swore to uphold, so help me God. Free speech especially includes speech we don't agree with. I'm opposed to racists, race baiters, and victim politics. In the name of free speech, including speech I don't agree with, I urge a no vote on this resolution.
I have to agree. I mean, putting aside the content of his argument or the content of the meme, it's not even an argument. I agree with absolutely what he's saying. It's free speech. You can disagree or agree with somebody, but to strip somebody of their committee positions because you don't agree with something seems anti-American and seems, like he said, against the Constitution that they all swore to uphold and to protect. But now let's get to the theory itself. Let's get to this white replacement or the Great Replacement conspiracy theory that white populations as a majority in white majority countries has been going down and decreasing over the years. I don't want you guys to take my word for it. I know I'm not an elected official. I know you may not know my background with research for this stuff. So I thought a good place to look for answers to this question is the Democratic Party. Let's see what they have to say about the Great Replacement theory.
It seems harder and harder to ignore that the echoes of replacement theory and other racially motivated views are increasingly coming out into the open.
In a few years, we're going to be a majority brown country. White people will not be the majority in the country anymore.
This will be the first generation ever in American history in which whites will be a minority of the generation at some point.
That's weird. They're talking about it as if it's a fact. But they just got done telling me in the House in Michigan, those two representatives, that this was a racist, bigoted, hate-filled conspiracy theory. They seem to be talking about it like it's a fact.
2007, every year, babies being born in this country, whites now are the minority.
In 2044, everyone is going to be a minority.
As the demographics change, as white people become the minority in the country, which is coming.
Demographics is destiny.
Demographics is destiny.
Demographics is destiny, right? The country is changing.
I've been saying it here. Other people have been saying it here for years now, even before Donald Trump. The demographics is destiny.
The white population is declining for the first time in history in America, while the number of multiracial Americans have more than doubled.
So we live in a country where the demographics are changing. It's becoming less white.
That video goes on for another minute and a half, showing a slew of Democrats and left-wingers saying the same thing over and over, saying exactly what Josh Scriver was saying, that the white population, the white majority in America and other white majority countries around the world throughout time have gotten less white. Why is it a conspiracy theory when a Republican says it, but it's a fact when a Democrat says it, or when someone on the left says it? Now, the obvious answer is, of course, that this demographic change is good for the Democratic Party, that they are importing swarms of voters from the third world, from Latin America, from South America, from Europe, from Africa, from around the world. Our countries, the West, is being flooded with left-wing voters, with Democrats. So this helps their cause. And of course they're going to want to bury that. Of course they're going to want to call it racist and a conspiracy theory, because that helps them hide their motive. It helps them hide their agenda. But this has been out in the open, and Democrats have been talking about this for years and years and years. And it's only when the right wing, it's only when conservatives, it's only when Republicans bring it up that it is labeled and these people are smeared as racists, as bigots. What is it going to mean for the culture, for our values? And I think it's ridiculous that, again, when the left calls it out, it's a fact, but when the right does it, it's a white supremacist conspiracy theory. But in terms of the way that this is affecting voters and the reason that Democrats want to hide it, they are very open about it. And here's a clip of that.
You'll be announcing that we're calling the 38 electoral votes of Texas for the Democratic nominee for president. It's changing. It's going to become a purple state and then a blue state because of the demographics, because of the population growth.
The growth in Texas has been almost entirely driven by non-white population growth, mostly by Hispanic and Latino population growth.
I mean, so there it is, turning Texas from a deep red state into a purple state and eventually a blue state. That is directly tied to the demographic change that Josh Scriver is talking about. And you don't need to be a political analyst to see the demographic change. All you need is 2 eyeballs and to spend a little bit of time in these places. And so I think it's absolutely appropriate for any elected official to be concerned and to talk about the demographic changes happening in their country, who they were elected to lead and to organize. It's a really polarizing topic, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure to let me know what you guys want to see in future videos.